Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and members of the Chacha Nation, my name is Afistonova, your musical plug, creator of the Energy Force. Welcome to another episode of the Chacha Album Review Series on your award-winning podcast, Chacha Music Review Podcast. And today we'll be talking about an album that dropped, on the 17th of May, 2023. This is going to be the artist's third studio album. And this is probably coming after like 7 to 8 years after he dropped his, second studio album, which also came probably about 7 years after dropping, his first album. And this album came at a time where there was a lot of conversation about his music status. Is he a legend or is he a veteran? Or, he's just one of those guys there. And then the name of the album itself also now sparked, the continuation of the discussion of his status. I'm talking about the album titled Legend or No Legend by the Black Diamond himself, talking about Wande Coal. And on today's episode, I'm not going to be here alone. I'm going to be here with my brother, someone that has been here on the podcast not once, not twice, and I wanted to do this with him because, me and him, we go way back when it comes to Wande Coal. We've been a big Wande Coal fan, and I feel like if there's somebody that will, really talk about the album that without any bias and will say the official truth of how he feels, then I feel like my brother is going to be the one, to do this. So without wasting much of your time, let me allow my brother to reintroduce himself once again.
I don't think I need any reintroduction. So, certified Chacha gang, I'm happy to be here on the podcast again, always and ever.
Where are you currently? Where are we doing this from currently?
Currently, I'm somewhere in the eastern part of Africa, close to the Horn of Africa.
Okay, close to the Horn of Africa, eastern part. I love the code. Easter egg. When I go figure them out. All right, that is just to show you that wherever you are in the world, Chacha Music Review Podcast will always get to you. Like I said, this is about amplifying the African sound by bringing the best of African music to your ears. So we are always there all over Africa doing what needs to be done.
Africans, stand up! Your Saturday just got more exciting as Afistonova, aka your musical plug, creator of the energy, present to you Chacha Music Review Podcast, a music review podcast that critic, review, analyze, and rate new songs from top African artists on a weekly basis. Whether you're from Ghana,
Nigeria,
South Africa,
Kenya,
Tanzania,
Benin,
Lesotho, Botswana, Rwanda, or even in the diaspora, Chacha Music Review Podcast is your guide for the newest African sounds. Chacha Music Review Podcast by Afistonova, amplifying the African sound by bringing the best of African music to your ears.
When you say Wande Coal won't drop new album, what was going through your mind? That was the first question. And the second question, when you now saw the name of the album, what again went through your mind? Let's start with that.
About the name of the album, I'm probably part of those people, probably the leader of those people that do not like the name of the album. I feel Wande Coal does not need to prove anything, and naming your much awaited album in that light is like he's trying to actually prove something. So I feel that he shouldn't have done that. It's more like he's questioning himself, and I don't know the reason behind it. Of course, I know the reason behind it. All the discussion of legend, OG is obviously not a new cat, but I was not expecting that title.
Okay, and then what was the expectation you had in mind, knowing that, okay, now the album is finally coming?
Well, it's the same thing we do all the time when we most times when people release their sophomore or third album, we always compare it to the debut album, which is always like the best for most artists. So I also went through that route. Wanted to see what he would do comparing to Mushin to More Hits. My intention was to see how much he would beat that album. So that was my expectation, how much he would beat the first album, more like a comparison of both.
So now you had your expectation and you are not so much in agree on the name of the album. Then you finally picked the album and you started to stream the album all through. What was it like for the first time? What was your reaction? What was your, experience listening to the album for the first time?
Okay, so for the first time, I'm so happy he had the first song, Nobody Holy. The song was a very good introduction to the album. Like, it really hits me. Like, he spoke about nobody being holy. So it was a very good introduction. The song was really good, like really, really good. The lyrics, the message of the song, like it was really good, very good introduction to the album. But after that, the next track was a previously released song, which I loved so much. I've been expecting the remix with Davido after the clip they had in the studio, but it never came to light. After that, I don't know, like the enthusiasm of it went down. So I wasn't really feeling so much the album until I got to track 8, Pepaso, and it elevated my spirit a little bit, and then it went down. But that was on the first listen. Okay.
So, like you rightly said, when I also listened to the album for the first time, the first track also, Nobody Holy. I mean, that track got me, and I'm like, okay, fine. I mean, this is a good way to kick off the album. And then Come My Way followed also. I'm like, okay, we are going somewhere. I like this arrangement. Then the third track, the fourth track, and then by the time I got to the last track, to be honest, I didn't really know how to feel about my first experience. I feel there was different emotions that I was feeling all through. There were some songs that immediately stood out for me. I mean, like you rightly said, Fake Paso, which is one of those songs that dropped, as a single. That song, for me, I feel like for me personally, that's one of my best songs, of the album, but we'll get to there. But on my first experience, I listened to it, and to be honest, maybe because I was expecting too much, or maybe because I was full of expectation, it felt like I didn't get what I was looking for. So I decided to go, you know what, just leave him. I'll come back when my expectation don't die down. So I went back to the album after 2 days, and then I listened to it for the second time and the third time, and then I feel, oh, okay, now I get it. Now I understand what this album is all about. So now for you, after listening to the album for the second time, third time, fourth time, whatever times you've listened to the album, now tell me what your experience is personally, on the album in general.
Okay, so personally, if it was a different artist, not Wande Coal, after the second, third listen, I probably would have just dropped the album. But being the fact that it was Wande Coal, I like Wande Coal so much, I had to force myself to continue to listen to it. So I did that over and over again. And along the line, I actually started falling in love with the album. I would say the first half, I really loved it. But the ending part of the album, even till now, I really don't vibe to it. So like for me, the album is from track 1 to track 8. And the reason why I think so is I like the Pepaso song. It's the best song of the album.
Okay.
And I do not like the Ebelebe song. It's like the worst song of the album. So having those two songs together is like I get to a point and then it's diminishing returns. Like it just keeps coming down. I'm one of those people that do not like new Wizkid. I don't like post EME Wizkid. Not like I don't like, I just don't like the songs he's doing. So I don't like that song. So that introduced my not liking of the other songs in the rest parts of the album. Even though they are fair songs, but Pepaso just put it to the heights, and just the rest is just like, okay, no, you can't beat this.
Okay. Like for those of you that really don't know, the album has 13 tracks, and like he said, the first part of the album did it for him, and the last part of the album did not really do it for him. So for an album that has 13 tracks, it means at least on an average 7 songs did it for him, and 7 songs did not really do it for him. Now like I said, the album has 13 tracks. It features Olamide, Wizkid, Fireboy, and T-Pain. Those are the features on the album. And the album was also produced by Dunni, Bruno, Screwface, KDream, P, which did most of the production on the album. And you also have P.Priime. Those were the producers that worked on the album. Now, talking about production and talking about feature, I mean, like we said, you've already mentioned, and we both mentioned that Paper, so we features Olamide, is one of the best tracks, on the album. And you rightly mentioned that you don't like the track featuring Wizkid, Ebelebe. So let's talk about the production of the album. What will you say about the production of the album? Was it top notch? Was it mute, or you're just there?
Okay, so for me, it has gotten to the point where I do not really care about names in terms of production. I intentionally don't want to know who produced the track, because we found out from different artists that you think this artist and this producer are like inseparable, like they bring out banger upon banger, and then the artist works with another producer and like, God damn it, this one even did it better. So I've dropped the habit of naming producers. So I do not even know the producers except those ones that had their name tags like KLP and all that. But overall, I think the production was really, really good. The production was sound. I could hear every instrument. I could hear every blend, his voice with the instrumental, with the exception of I think 3 Square Meals. I don't know if it was the lyrics or the mixing. The numbers he was calling was not blending, like $400, $400 million. Like I think it could have been better, but it wasn't really blending. Sometimes when he's calling the numbers, that the particular beat would have stopped, then the new beat would have started, but he's still calling the numbers. So the flow was not really going well. But overall, it was good. Like, it was very, very good. In fact, it was up to standard. For all the songs that he featured people, T-Pain, Olamide, Wizkid, Fireboy, it felt like he was the one being featured on those songs. For all of them, I have that feeling with all those 4 tracks. They actually took over the tracks than himself. All of them, they started the song, they ended the song. He was like the featured artist in those songs. I don't know if it's something you noticed, but I definitely noticed that. Yes,
I mean, it was something I noticed in terms of every featured artist started before him, and then, he came in last. And I felt like it did that, I don't know, I feel like maybe it did that intentionally. Okay, you're my featured artist, let me allow you go first, and then maybe I come back. You know that thing when artists do, whereby maybe they don't want you to kill them on their own track, then they feature you first, and then Eminem style. Then they now take the last part, and then they try and finish you so that you won't come back anything. So I guess that was what he tried to do on the album. So yeah, I actually did get that. And for me, I feel that was cool, dude. That was just like a style of a thing. And again, if you even notice, those features came in back to back, except from the Fireboy feature.
Yeah,
I was thinking everything was going to go back to back like that, and then we just go back to only him and no feature. So I mean, you rightly mentioned Paper So as your best song on the album, and Ebelebe as one of those songs you don't like. So let's add 2 more to that circle. Which other 2 songs will you say stood out for you, and other 2 songs that you feel like, nah, you shouldn't be on this album?
Well, like I already said, all the songs in the first part were like I rate them in the same category. Well, most rated would be Deuce and between 3 Square Meals and Choke. Also Let Them Know. I like that one too. So don't give me a chance to pick 2. Let me just pick like 5. So yeah, I love all the tracks. So I'm going to exclude those ones that came out as singles. So
yeah, that was
Nobody Holy.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, so it's going to be Nobody Holy, 3 Square Wins, in no particular order, Deuce and Ichoke. For the one I do not like is definitely Ebelebe with Wizkid, and I would say probably Genesis and Don't Feel Love.
Okay. I mean, for me personally, I'm not going to lie to you. After listening to the album I can't remember the number of times I've listened to this album, I'm going to say I enjoyed the album. And obviously, my favorite track, again, track 8, Paper. So that has been my favorite track, from the onset. The track titled Let Them Know, which is track 6, was a track I didn't really feel when it came out as a single. But somehow, I began to feel it, in the album. And then another track that I also enjoyed, which at first I was not expecting the collaboration to go like that. But seeing how the collaboration were, I feel like, okay, fine, makes sense. At least if this is what they sang about, makes sense. It's his collaboration with T-Pain, Street. That was like, as a matter of fact, when I was listening to the album for the first time, I think that was the song that really, really first stood out from. That was the only song I played twice when I was listening to the album for the first time. Like, okay, I think let me listen to this one again. Let me see how it feels, right? So Street is definitely one of my best songs of the album. I also like, Deuce. I also like, Ichoke. To be honest, I like a lot of songs on the album. So if you are to, describe this album to someone, say you want to talk about this album now, what is going to be your general feel, your general, should I say opinion, or your general take, on the album? And also, if you are going to put a rating onto it, what is your rating going to be like?
So if I want to sell this album to someone, it will depend on the person I'm selling it to. If it's not a Wande Coal fan or somebody in that kind of line, I wouldn't even bother, because I don't think the person might feel the album. So I'll not even waste my time trying to sell the album. But if it's someone who has been a fan of Wande Coal, somebody who has love for his kind of singing, or somebody who is really tired of all the amapiano and all the current vibes that is going on right now, they should definitely cop this album. It's a very, very good one. It's different from the sound that we are used to hearing now, even though my piano is dying. But the songs that we are used to these days, they are not songs that have like long listening value. But I think songs on this album can actually give long listening value. But it will only appeal to those who liked Wande Coal, or those who started listening to his kind of music way back 10-15 years ago. I'm going to give it a very, very strong 8. Probably I would have given it a 9, but the title took away the 0.5 inside. So I'm going to give it like 8.5.
I mean, talking about the title, like you said, the title took it away, So talking about the title, do you feel that with this album, Wande has, like you said, he has nothing to prove. But do you feel like this album, should I say, don't let me say prove now, but let me say, solidify, or would shut people up in terms of his legendary status? Or this album did not really do justice to shutting people up about his legendary status? Or this album is more of like a reminder of who he is? What will you say this album did or has done to Wande's status?
For me, I don't really think Wande has. When you say somebody is a legend, I don't see Wande Coal as a legend.
Yeah.
So hear me out. When I hear legend, music in Nigerian music industry, the first name that comes to my head is Screwface.
Okay.
And when you call somebody else a legend, instinctively, I take the person and I put the person beside Screwface.
Okay.
And if the person can match up closely, then okay, yes, legend. If the person can't, No. I would say Wande Coal is an OG. Like is an OG, but legend. No. You can say P.Square is a legend. Two-Face is a legend because they've been doing this since the early 2000s and still very relevant till now. They've done several things, but for Wande, we as fans have actually carried him more than his works, to be honest, because he doesn't have a lot of works out there. He has how many albums? 1 and 2 EPs or so. I think the last album was the one with...
the last album he did was in 2015, Wanted. The one that had the... Yeah.
Before then, he had Motion to Mo It in like 2009.
Yeah, 2009.
2009. So like in 2009 to 2023, you are having 3 albums. So I can't really call him a legend. He hasn't really done legendary stuff. He's a very, very good singer, a very, very talented artist, which is what carries him, which he carries with him. So I would say he's an OG. This album is just just something he's going to put on his shelf. It's not going to make any milestones for him. I don't think it's that kind of milestone album. It's not going to make him get more fans. It's not going to make him lose more fans. If he's going to get more fans, it's most likely going to be from singles or from collaboration, which I think that Come My Way remix with Davido would have done. But I don't know why people do what they do. So for me, this album is just something is going to add to his arsenal. So now he has 3 albums, and that's just where this album is going to stop. It's going to be a number.
What we've spoken about is the review from Wande Coal's album, Legend or No Legend. And like Gbemi rightly said, this album doesn't really take anything away from whatever status that Wande Coal has. He has that GOAT and that OG status already. This doesn't take it away, and it does not, reduce that, status. And for me personally, I would say yes, this album is a very good album. And if I was to rate the album, definitely I would give the album a 7.5 rating. The reason why I also took the 0.5 off is because of the name of the album. Because I felt like when I saw the name of the album titled Legend or No Legend, I was expecting that once you drop this album, everybody could just quiet. In fact, artists go dey fear to drop any other project this year. It's okay. No, more just leave them. Now don't vex Baba and stuff like that. But in as much as the album is a good album and it's something I can listen to and I can enjoy, I still didn't get that feel like, okay, you have proven a point or you have done something, out of the extraordinary. Like we said, Wande is a very good artist. No doubt. He's an OG. He's someone that, if you put him side by side with a lot of artists, they're not going to even feel stand beside them on a normal day. So yes, that respect, is given to him, and I really, really do, appreciate the album and appreciate what he has done. Whether he is a legend or not, I'm going to leave that to you guys to feel. They may have said he's not a legend. For me, I know we'll talk. I'm not for my mouth now. Go take care of him. Say I don't want anybody to come for me. So let me do my day before you people say I said what I didn't say. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and members of the Cha-Cha Nation, we have come to the end of another episode of the Cha-Cha Album Review Series on your award-winning podcast, Cha-Cha Music Review Podcast. As you already know, my name will always be Afistonova, the creator of the Energy Force, and of course, your number one musical plug. It's like come here with another episode. Remember, keep the energy, keep it 100, and keep it positive. Peace out.
Time for the Cha-Cha gang. Give me the Cha-Cha gang. Rockin' with the best, the Cha-Cha gang. Give me the Cha-Cha gang. Alayela with Cha-Cha gang. Give me the Cha-Cha gang. What's in my body, Cha-Cha gang. Give me the Cha-Cha gang. Cha-Cha gang. What's in my body?